Hey guys, I'm Grestar, and how about we watch a death battle, Hulk versus Doomsday? Of course, make sure to click here to go to the official release first, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and then come back here and we'll watch it together. So yes, Hulk versus Doomsday, Hulk from Marvel and Doomsday from DC. I won't say I know a ton about these characters because I haven't gone into comics at all. And what I know is basically just from the movies. So what I know of the Hulk is from his newer movies and Avengers and everything. And then what I know from Doomsday is basically just what appeared in Batman v Superman. And I feel like that's not a true interpretation of Doomsday, according to what I've heard from the fans. So what I think I know is that Doomsday in the comics at one point killed Superman, right? That's a pretty impressive feat. And spoilers, sorry. That kind of happened, in Batman vs Superman, but it involved all this kryptonite, and it was just kind of cheaty, and so I don't think that, that's how it happened in the comics. I think it was actually due to his own brute strength, which is really saying something if you can take out Superman. If it did involve kryptonite, alright, but that really makes it not as impressive a feat, you know what I mean? Granted, other people have had kryptonite and still weren't able to take him down, but still. As for the Hulk, I know that a lot of people have tried to take him out and failed, but I also feel like I heard that people have taken him out, or at least knocked him out, not killed him, but knocked him out, and from there I think it would be pretty simple to kill him. Maybe, I don't know. But I do remember something too, where I think that at one point, Bruce tried to shoot himself, gun to the mouth, shot, but instead the Hulk, caught the bullet between its teeth, that kind of stuff. So that makes me think, okay, pretty fast reactions. Granted, he could see it coming, that kind of thing. He being the beast, the Hulk itself. But still, it's one of those where it's I feel like both of the characters, they kind of get stronger as they need to, as they take more punishment, they just grow in strength. But I don't know, that's kind of speculation based upon what I remember possibly hearing in the past. So I just can't really say, give a prediction at this point. No, as a matter of fact, in order to make a prediction that could be any sort of accurate, I think that we need to watch the analyses. So with that, let's get to watching. And play.
Before we get into the episode, I have something very important to tell you.
Do it then.
Our new game, Super Rad Ray Gun, just launched on Steam.
Super Rad Ray Gun!
Linux, with over 20 unique levels,
20
modes of play, and tongue-in-cheek story of 1980s politics, it's a whole lot of value for just $9.99.
Fair enough.
And pick it up by November 15th, and we'll even give you the soundtrack featuring music from Phantom NK and Bubble Pipe
absolutely
Media for
free.
Click the link in the description after the video.
I mean, bundled with the game. Alright, hey, then you can still do that. It's not November 15th yet. If you're watching this video when I released it, you could still do it. If you're watching this in the future, you cannot. I mean,
pure
depends how far in the future, but anyway.
Rage. Usually, in a stressful situation, you'd want to avoid this sort of emotion in order to keep yourself
But Homer
focused.
made art of it.
Unless you're a giant rampaging pile of muscles.
Yes.
Like these two.
Dr. Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk.
That's right.
And Doomsday, the monster who killed Superman. He's
So, yeah, he did kill
Boomsday.
Superman. We're just going to
And
throw
it's
that
our
out there
job
right
to
away.
analyze their weapons, armor, and skills.
But the question
to find
is
out
how?
who would win a death battle.
Cool. And it's awesome 3D and everything.
Within each of us, oft times, there dwells a mighty and raging fury. And this suits no one better than the mild-mannered scientist, Bruce Banner.
And my
'Cause
fury
when
is
Bruce
nowhere near
gets
that,
angry,
but
Oh boy, you wouldn't like him.
But
when
he's
angry.
always angry.
Dr. Robert Bruce Banner may have grown up with few friends, but what
Oh,
he
I didn't know
lacked
his
in
first name was
popularity,
Robert.
he made up tenfold with his intellect. However, in spite of his gifts, it was never enough to earn the respect and love of his father.
Aww.
Partly because Bruce was so smart that his alcoholic dad literally thought he was a monster and
Oh.
expressed that to Bruce pretty thoroughly.
Wow.
God damn! How much distance do you think you got there, Wiz?
Yeah.
9, 10 feet?
Man, with an arm like that, he could really go places. Like the nut house after he
Yes.
murdered his wife right in front of Bruce.
I was just going to say prison, but
Understandably
that.
traumatized, Bruce coped by creating an imaginary friend to talk to.
You know, I had an imaginary friend once.
You did? What was his name?
Dad.
Oh.
Well, Bruce's friend served as an emotional outlet all the way through his college graduation. However, his advice to Bruce was oftentimes destructive.
Oh.
So when the U.S. military recruited Bruce to make
Just wondering
weapons,
how it happened
was
then.
actually kind of fitting.
Bruce was tasked with developing a gamma bomb.
'Cause I thought it was,
which
yeah,
would use
just gamma radiation, like he
to target
already
enemy
kind of
weapons
had
and
it.
buildings without endangering human lives. At least that's what Bruce was told.
Surprise, surprise! Gamma radiation is actually pretty fucking harmful. And when it came time to test the bomb and some dumb kid decided to play his harmonica right in the test zone, Bruce asked his assistant to stop the countdown and dashed off to save him. But turns out his assistant was a Russian spy who set off the bomb anyway.
Oh, what
On
a
that strange
that
day,
jerk face.
Bruce's imaginary friend became a real-life terror as he transformed into the Incredible Hulk.
So that's the canon backstory then? Because that's not how I knew of it from the movies, but I guess they often kind of
Really?
Yes, apparently. Ever since, whenever he's angry, Bruce's body and mind morphs into that of the Hulk's, granting him unmeasurable power.
While he loses Bruce's brain power, the Hulk is ridiculously strong. He can leap great distances, survive the harshest environments, and most importantly, smash the crap out of everything with his bare fist.
Yes.
He also knows a technique known as the thunderclap,
Oh,
which
yeah.
creates a shockwave that can deafen foes, level forests, and push back explosions.
As if he needed anything more than that, the Hulk has a healing factor that gives Wolverines a run for his money.
They're healing. You should be dead.
That is
He's
impressive.
super strong and super hard to kill. What's not to like?
Well, there's one little detail that kind of ruins the whole experience.
What?
Bruce can't really control the Hulk. In fact, the Hulk is his own being, and they both hate each other, vying for dominance over Bruce's body. And yet, Bruce and the Hulk are often reminded how much they depend on each other for survival.
Bruce figured if he was stuck with his big green Goliath forever, he might as well try using it for good, eventually joining the Avengers, Defenders, the Fantastic Four, and even the Illuminati.
Hulk has held
Oh,
up a
okay.
150 billion ton mountain,
150
escaped Earth's gravitational pull with a single jump.
And one time when a planet's tectonic plates started splitting apart, threatening to shatter the whole world, he just jumped right in there and pulled the planet back together.
The estimated average mass of a
Okay.
single lithospheric plate is nearly 45 quintillion tons, and the Hulk pulled 2 of these together with nothing but his bare hands.
Wow.
And he's not just strong
Of course
and
he did.
tough,
He's the Hulk.
He's more than twice as fast as a fighter jet, which puts him over Mach 5 speeds at least. And he can always go faster if he's pissed off enough.
This is because the Savage Hulk's strength is directly related to his anger. The angrier he gets, the more powerful he becomes. In theory, this means his maximum level of strength is potentially infinite. And when he taps into that immeasurable rage to the fullest,
Yes.
he truly lives up to his name of Worldbreaker.
Bigger, stronger, and oozing with gamma radiation, the Worldbreaker Hulk is so powerful, with a single stomp he created earthquakes felt hundreds of miles away. In his battle with Sentry, basically Marvel Superman,
Okay,
they
thank you.
almost destroyed New York. And when battling another Worldbreaker Hulk, a single collision between them obliterated an entire planet.
Oh,
Even the mutant
good.
Darwin's power, which specifically adapts to counter any enemy, decided that the best defense against the Hulk was to be somewhere else.
Holy hell! Who could even stand up to this madness?
Not many, obviously. Typically, Bruce does his best to contain and limit the Hulk's power. In fact, Worldbreaker Hulk is a result of Bruce relinquishing that control entirely.
Oh.
In terms of combat, usually only cosmic beings like Silver Surfer or Zeus have the might to challenge the Hulk.
Oh yeah, like that one time Zeus hit him so hard it burned out his healing factor.
But even gods
It did?
sometimes
No,
have
go
to
back to
learn
that.
the
That's
hard way.
important.
You do not mess with the Incredible Hulk.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Yeah. That happened.
Puny god.
That was one of the best parts
What
of
if
that
all
movie.
you had ever known was hatred and aggression,
I don't
violence
know.
and pain? This life is reality for
YouTube comments, Doomsday, yeah, Doomsday guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Thousands of years ago, on an uninhabitable prehistoric planet which would one day be known as Krypton, a scientist named Bertrand intended to engineer the ultimate life form.
Yep, it's another one of those stories, but with
Gotcha.
one hell of a twist.
See, at this time, Krypton was a harsh wasteland filled with nothing but sharp rocks, poisonous air, and violent predators.
Bertrand believed that if he could create something that could live through that, they could survive just about anywhere.
Yeah, it
To
seems like
realize
it.
this theory, Bertrand acquired an infant from somewhere and, through a rapidly accelerated evolution process, attempted to transform him into his dream creation.
Okay.
Oh, don't try to dance around it, Wiz. Bertrand put that little sucker into a baby cannon, blasted him into the wild to get murdered by any number of things, sucked up what was left of him with a vacuum cleaner, and just cloned a new one out of the mess to do it all over again.
Huh.
Well,
Really?
yeah. The
Wow.
idea being each new clone would be stronger than the one before, thus covering millions of years of evolution in just a few decades.
Right.
That doesn't sound like science.
No, it doesn't. So after 30 straight years of baby murder, one of
Yes.
the clones finally survived
That's
the
quite
test.
accurate.
Amazed by his own success, Bertrand named this baby the Ultimate.
The ultimate baby.
But to the rest of the universe, he was their Doomsday.
See, Wiz, reloading as it is, patenting my baby cannon was a good idea.
Successful as Bertrand's experiment was, it was anything but a good idea.
Well, no.
Turns out, while Doomsday usually appears to be a mindless beast, he remembered every single time Bertrand had him killed.
Really?
As a result, Doomsday had been unintentionally programmed at a genetic level to hate everything that lives.
Oh.
Needless to say, Bertrand was pretty screwed.
Because even with 30 years of development, Bertrand had never quite figured out what to do if his experiment actually worked. Because Bertrand is the worst.
I mean, he did do what he set out to do.
Yeah.
He made an 8'10" monster that doesn't need to eat, breathe, or have internal organs to live. It just kills and kills and kills some more.
Yeah, sounds like
Doomsday
it.
possesses enormous strength, incredible durability, and poisonous spikes which can extend. But due to Bertrand's experiments, Doomsday's greatest power of all is his ability to adapt to his opponent's powers.
After taking his sweet revenge, Doomsday stowed away on a supply ship and ravaged dozens of planets until he finally found himself on Earth.
On that day, Doomsday did the unthinkable. On that day, Doomsday killed Superman.
But how?
Well, kind of. He actually put him into a super sleep. After several days, he kind of woke up more powerful.
Yeah, we all know, Wiz. At least Soup
No, I didn't
took
know.
Doomsday down with him. Or maybe not. Turns out, whenever Doomsday dies, he just comes back to life, forever immune to whatever killed him in the first place.
Then how can he be in death battle?
He's been punched to death by Superman, blasted apart by the Radiant's energy, brutally ripped in half, incinerated by Imperiex, and just curb stomped by a Kryptonian horde.
Practically invulnerable at this point, Doomsday's taken on Darkseid, tanking his Omega beams and beating him to near death. He single-handedly defeated most of the Justice League and took on an energy attack that wiped out a fifth of a planet.
He's punched through the Phantom Zone, battled super beings called Gogs for a century, and
Okay.
even broken Wonder Woman's arms. Arms strong enough to help pull the Earth.
And during his rematch with the Man of Steel, after witnessing Doomsday survive an explosion equivalent to 1 million nukes, Superman realized that the only way to stop him was to send him to the end of time.
At his most powerful, Doomsday's mere presence can boil the ocean and disintegrate buildings. A casual stroll across Africa made wildebeest an endangered species just by walking around. But what he's got in strength, he really lacks in brains.
Not that he's dumb, he just literally lacks a brain. More
Oh.
often than not, Doomsday is little more than a one-track mind-killing machine. This
Okay.
makes his intentions predictable, and a clever opponent could use this to, say, lead him into a trap. And should that foe come up with a new way to hurt Doomsday, he could be killed.
Still, that's gonna be pretty goddamn hard to do.
Yeah. Thinking now.
All right,
Is it gonna
the
be a
combatants
commercial
are
first?
set. Let's
Who
end this
knows?
debate
I
once
don't.
and for all.
But first,
Yep.
Wiz won't stop talking about this thing, so he wants to tell you about it.
Okay, what is it, Wiz?
As a man of science, I analyze everything from the car I drive to the razor that shaves my face.
Fair.
I only use a razor I've scientifically proven to be of both quality and value. I use Harry's. Thanks to
Oh.
their factory in Germany, Harry's produces quality razors at half the price, just $2 a blade. Harry's sleek 5-blade razor offers a softer flex hinge, trimmer blade, textured handle for control, and a lubricating strip to help soothe the skin.
Gotta
But
love
if
that
you're like me,
lubrication.
you'll want to try it for yourself. Harry's is so confident in their razor, they'll send you a trial set absolutely free when you subscribe. Just pay $3 for shipping. And as a viewer of Death Battle, you can get a free bottle of post-shave balm, which soothes and relieves skin after shaving and helps reduce redness. Just enter the code DEATHBATTLE at checkout. So head on over to harrys.com by clicking the link.
I guess if you want to do that, guys,
trial set and post-shave
feel
balm.
free to shave your
Just
face
remember,
and stuff.
use the code DEATHBATTLE at checkout.
But right now, it's time for a
Death
death
battle. And pause. All right, let's talk about this real quick. So I'll admit, just jumping right out there, that I think that Doomsday is going to win this because of his immunity, where apparently when he dies, okay, first the fact that he just comes back, that seems like a bit of a red flag already. But that, you know, he has died multiple times from multiple different things, including, they said, you know, like Superman just punching him to death. And that's basically how I would imagine the Hulk would do it. Because they mentioned, you know, punching him to death and tearing him apart. And so those are like the two things that I imagined the Hulk doing. Unless they're going to be super specific and be like, well, they didn't punch him to death this way, or they didn't tear him apart limb from limb, you know, then it's like, well, okay, then there's that. But it's just like, I don't know the rules behind the immunity. I don't know how specific exactly it has to be. I just know that, you know, the Hulk doesn't disintegrate buildings with his presence. I mean, his active presence maybe, but not like him just passively being there. So, you know, I thought the Hulk was really bloody powerful, and, you know, they didn't seem to show the same kind of feats for Doomsday, like, you know, holding the mountain and, you know, pulling the tectonic plates back together or whatever. And, you know, so it seemed like the Hulk had the upper hand there, but it's just because of that immunity that Doomsday has that makes me think that he's going to win, because I can't think of how else the Hulk would beat him. Everything else seems like it would be too kind of random, you know? Like, oh, well, what if Hulk threw Doomsday into lava, or, you know, not that specifically, but like, what if Hulk jumped into space with him, even though I think that Doomsday has survived both of those things. Either way, it would just, if it was something environmental like that, it would be like, well, would this honestly happen most of the time they fight? Because that's what Death Battle's about, who would win most of the time. So I'm just inclined to think that because of his immunity, after having died so many times and come back, Doomsday's gonna win. So that's my prediction. Doomsday is going to win this Death Battle. And play. Oh look, they're oddly colored. Why are we among the crayon people? Why isn't everyone melting? And why is there blood in my eyes? Prove me wrong, Hulk. I mean, I'm rooting for Hulk, honestly, because I just like him more. I just think that he has this one, you know, Doomsday. And everyone's dead. Oh, that really hurt! Oh, by the way, I should also comment, Doomsday doesn't have a brain, but the Hulk doesn't have Bruce's intellect. He still has some brain, but I just don't think that's enough. Maybe. Just thought I'd say. Well, that's cool, actually going through the bus like that. That was cool. He landed surprisingly gently on that building. Or was that just ground again? Either way, he landed surprisingly gently. No, it was a building. This music's nice. Oh, he has gauntlets now. Oh, they're gone. Oh, no, they're not. Okay, never mind. Just with how strong they are, I don't feel like hitting people with cars would be as powerful. Honestly, his hitting with just a fist. Destruction, guys. Like Zersley. No one thought it was over, right?
You break buildings good, but Hulk, break worlds!
Oh no, we break worlds! Now, this is definitely playing out so far like, yeah, the Hulk's comeback. I mean, the Hulk has regen to deal with that right there. There's a lot of spikes. Many much spikes. All this green blood in my eyes. For real. Whoa, I don't think he can regen from that, though.
KO!
Alright, yeah.
Oh,
That was right.
that
Kill
was
me.
beautiful.
With the Hulk's immeasurable power and Doomsday's impossible immortality, this truly felt like a fight between an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
Hulk may have had the advantage
get
of
it.
raw strength, at least at his full potential.
another reference,
But
though.
Doomsday could certainly hold his ground. His victories against the likes of Superman and Darkseid prove he can take a hit from someone strong enough to break planets.
Oh, yes.
By experience, Doomsday had the speed advantage. He regularly fights foes with light speed capabilities, while that kind of speed is an extreme rarity in the Marvel Universe. In fact, the only foe that fast who Hulk's ever seemed to keep pace with in a one-on-one match was Sentry, and that was when he was at his most powerful stage, Worldbreaker Hulk.
So overall, Hulk had strength and Doomsday had speed, but neither completely outclassed the other. At first glance, this one looked like it could go either way.
Which means the devil's in the very tiny details.
So why couldn't the Hulk's infinite strength just keep rising and eventually
Tell us,
overwhelm
guys.
Doomsday?
Well, even assuming Hulk's strength was infinite, his healing factor was not. Don't get me wrong, it can only be overtaxed by hits from absurdly powerful beings such as Zeus or Sentry, whom Doomsday certainly compares.
Naturally, Doomsday's crazy strength and speed started wearing that healing factor down.
Here's where it gets a
okay.
bit tricky. The Hulk may look like a giant green monster, but he's still technically human, and his power directly correlates with his anger. A human being's anger stems from an increase in hormones and adrenaline in the
this part's
body.
really interesting,
However,
actually.
the brain can only produce these chemicals at such a rate for a limited time, eventually giving up and turning apathetic. Therefore, Hulk's limitless power could never have existed without his healing factor. It's the key. It allowed his body to continue producing hormones and adrenaline far beyond the norm, theoretically an endless supply, thus increasing his superhuman power to an immeasurable degree.
But only in
So
theory.
Doomsday overtaxing his healing factor meant the Hulk could no longer maintain his increasing rage and Hulk form.
And if you're still skeptical, that's why there's a bunch of times in comics when a huge impact forced the Hulk to turn back into Bruce Banner, including that battle between Worldbreaker Hulk and Sentry. With his healing power beaten down, he literally couldn't keep himself angry enough to stay in Hulk mode.
I love science, but there's still one more thing. Thanks
What?
to his battles with Superman and other Kryptonians, Doomsday has evolved to a point where it's basically impossible to kill him with brute force alone.
So Hulk couldn't have killed him by just getting angry enough to punch harder than Doomsday ever felt.
Precisely. Here's the proof. Superman and Doomsday eventually had a rematch, in which
Okay.
Superman was much more powerful than their first battle.
Gotcha.
As we discussed before, Superman's power is also potentially limitless by way of continually absorbing solar energy. And at this point in his story, he'd begun to discover that.
But try as he might, despite his increased power, Supes couldn't kill Doomsday with blunt force a second time.
Ultimately, Doomsday's immunity to being ripped, impaled, incinerated, blasted with energy, and being beaten by blunt force from both focused and multiple sources means Hulk just didn't have the options available to take Doomsday out before his healing factor was overtaxed.
Yeah.
On this day, Hulk met his doom. Doomsday.
I get
The
it.
winner is Doomsday.
All right, claps for Doomsday, everybody. Claps for Doomsday.
Next time on Death
Let's
Metal.
see who it is, guys. Oh, it's Frodo Noah Zoro.
Hey guys, I'm Ben. I play Wiz. This is Chatty plays Boomstick, and next up we've got Zoro from One Piece. Stick
From
with
One
Twitter to
Piece.
find out who he's gonna
I
be
haven't
fighting.
watched One
Watch
Piece.
Death Battle on your big
Oh, no.
screen? First members can now download the Xbox One and Apple TV apps. It's great, but super important. We just launched a brand new video game. It's Super Rad Ray Gun. Link in the description. Click
Yeah.
it. Check it out.
I mean, it's not in my description, but it's in theirs. Oh, and this video is over. I'm always used to like a sign out kind of thing still. Anyway, closing that. And now it's time to talk about his death battle, guys. So, one of the things that I want to point out right away before I forget it is I do like how in the battle it actually did, like with the music, just as the Hulk was like picking things up, it seemed like it was starting to go in his favor, and it made me like start dumb. I'm like, oh, was I wrong, you know, and that kind of thing. But no, so I thought that, I mean, because oftentimes in death battle, I feel like there's a point where you're like, oh, well, now this person's going to win because, like, again, the music ramping up in seemingly their favor and that kind of thing. But this time that wasn't the case. Like, the music ramped up as the Hulk was doing his new power sort of deal, but then Doomsday just kind of countered it with the music, like, still just going, like, not changing again. It just continued on, so I thought that that was, I don't know, maybe a lot of other death battles have been doing that, and I just am especially noticing with this one, but I did like that part, so pointing that out now. But yes, I was right, especially about the immunity thing. I think that's kind of a bullcrap power to have. It's like, oh, well, I die, and then I come back, and then I can no longer die that way. Like, you can only die so many times, you know? Ask Rasputin, like, there's only so many ways that a person can kill you. I mean, I guess, like, it depends again on how specifically you're judging it, which was one of my things where I'm like, okay, do they mean, like, if he's beaten physically in some other way or torn apart in another manner? And, which was what kind of made me start to question it being in the Hulk's favor when the Hulk, like, stepped on Doomsday's arm and, like, would that do it? Would that count as being different? You know, that sort of thing. But it didn't. And, I really did appreciate the lengths they went to in this explanation, you know, after the conclusion. Because I feel like a lot of the times they don't go that in depth, and maybe because in those cases they don't have to. But I really appreciated all the science behind it, and them pointing out, you know, like the fact that the Hulk is still technically human, and that, you know, they went into the hormones of the brain and everything, and talked about the regen. I found that really nice. And then, of course, to go back to Doomsday 2 and talk about how he fought Superman when he was even stronger, and Superman even then wasn't able to take him out with just brute force alone, which really, yeah. It mirrors that. It was a good parallel kind of thing, which I think really helps in the explanation. But I know that not everyone is going to be satisfied with this, so for those who aren't, hey, just wait for the next time, and maybe you'll like that one more. But yes, I enjoyed this death battle. It's not my favorite, largely because just brute strength kind of stuff isn't my favorite fighting style, but the animation itself was really nice, I thought. It was certainly entertaining, again, with that little twist, at least it was there for me. It added to it, and just after the twist, like how it then turned back around again, I thought it was all well done. So kudos to you guys. Now as for Zoro, like I said, I didn't watch One Piece. I saw like a snippet of the first episode like years ago. And I don't know, I remember finding it annoying, and so I never looked into it. Maybe I'd like it more now, maybe I'd be even more annoyed. Who's to say exactly? But I've just never cared to look into it, especially considering how bloody long it is at this point. Like, that would take so much commitment for me to actually watch it, you know? And if I did start watching it, and then I enjoyed it, then I would, like, have to watch a lot of it, you know? Or, you know how sometimes when you like something, you do want to see more, but maybe you don't want to see that much more? Like, that would just be a ton of commitment is the thing. And I have other things in life that I must do. Anyway, that's basically what I thought about this death battle. It's not my absolute favorite, but that's just because, like, you know, the fighting style itself wasn't, you know, my exact cup of tea, but I did really enjoy it. Like, I was totally entertained and everything, both, you know, during the analysis portion, because, like, I liked the learning aspect of it, you know, that kind of thing, and thinking back and forth in my mind. Basically, once it hit the immunity of Doomsday, I was just thinking he had this, you know. Before that, I thought the Hulk actually did, but once the immunity came about, yeah. But yeah, so at this point, let me know what you guys thought about this death battle in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., and so on and so forth. But I do ask that you guys try to be nice, try to be friendly, try not to start flame wars, or, you know, like, purposely attack people, because everyone is entitled, I think, to their opinion, but mostly if it is educated, you know, and that sort of thing. So, yeah. And with that, we're calling it here. Cue outro, go!